Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews with developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this week's episode, here's your Spotlight. Let's now go on to our Spotlight. And of course, we're spotlighting on that big boy. I'm talking about Sam Boy standing in the room waiting. Samsung dropped all that S25 series devices upon us. John and Sally and Karen, to some degree, you guys are the buffs when it comes to the Samsung thing. So how about you take us down this memory lane and what's going on here? And John, you probably have it waiting under your bed. Maybe it's not quite there. Tell us about these things, guys.
Sure. So, well, I'll just give the details and then we can give our opinions. So they all three now have the new Snapdragon chip, the Elite, and then as far as the base model goes, so I'll say right out of the gate, the prices did not raise, at least in the U.S. They're the same prices as last year, so that's good because there were rumors that they were going to raise the prices. But the base model, the S25, it now, in some regions, comes in 512, a 512 variant that's not available in the US for whatever reason. But the more important thing, I think, on that phone is that they've raised the memory from 8 to 12. So now you get 12 gigabytes of memory across the line, no matter which phone you get. Even the Ultra only has 12 gigabytes. So, yeah. And then there's the Plus. I'm going to say nothing really has changed in the Plus model, except the chip. You know, it has this same cameras. Just the base model also has the same cameras as before. And then there's the Ultra. Also has the new chip. They have slightly improved one of the cameras. I think it has, the ultra wide is now 50 megapixels instead of 12 megapixels. And they've improved the glass on it. It's a newer type of Gorilla Glass that's supposed to be better. And I think, and it's confirmed that they've downgraded the S Pen, so it's no longer Bluetooth. It's just kind of a dumb stylus. So if you used any features like using the S Pen to take a picture with the button, or using air gestures or air actions, I think they call them, to perform tasks on your phone, that's not going to be able to be done on the S25 Ultra anymore. So yeah, and the prices, they start at $800 for the base model, $1,000 for the Plus model, and then the Ultra is $1,300, and those are US prices.
Yeah, so that's it's good to stay the same though. And now talking about the stylus, if I were Samsung, I'd probably just get rid of the damn thing. But really, I mean, so the air gestures or air actions, whatever that people were liking earlier on, I'm not sure if that's going to be such a big, deal breaker. Well, when you use a pen, you want to write with a pen on paper. You got to have the pen touching the paper, right? So I don't know. Frankly, maybe because I don't use it, I don't see it as a big deal breaker. But I know some people kind of, the very menial things that people kind of get attached to and then kind of becomes a big deal breaker for them. So, but if you're using that and you're used to that, then it's something you have to get used to doing it in a different way. And another thing, though, that I think probably is good is that the edges are now more rounded than, I know some people used to say, oh, the edges are too sharp. I never found them to be too sharp, but anyway, they're more rounded corners now, if that's what you wanted. Samsung has done that. And I think another thing that I like that Samsung has done, and I wish every Android manufacturer would do that, is that battery health and also how many cycles one has charged it for. This would help if we make it mandatory for people to put that information when they're selling used device, so you know whether I should get this or not, and then that will help also in determining the price of it. Because if someone has charged their phones for 300 times already, gone through 300 cycles or 400 cycles, I'm not sure I'm going to buy that phone. What say you guys? I think that's a good idea to see that, not only telling you the battery health, how much percentage of the milliamp has remained, but how many cycles have been charged. I really like that. I think it's a
whenever
great
I
idea.
sell Ashley's phone, her iPhone, when she upgrades, I always put that information in the listing. And, even if it's not great, like even if it's down to, like, I think the last one I sold, it was down to 84%. But, she had the phone for 3 years, so that's really not bad. And, a lot of people.
No, that's very excellent. That's
if
so. It sounds like she's like me. I don't charge my phone all the time. So frankly, if I were to sell my phone, I mean, like, I'm looking at my Pixel 9, John. I probably charge my Pixel 9 like twice a week at the most, or sometimes maybe 3 if I do that much. So frankly, I would like, information like that, and let people know, the battery health and all that cycle. So no, with your wife having it for 3 years and at 84%, that's a very good phone. I'll pay top dollar for that.
Also, I'll just quickly mention pre-order deals. I'm sure they're different in different regions, but in the US, they're offering, they're not offering a free upgrade necessarily, but they're letting you put some of your credit towards it. So I'll try to explain. So if you get the base model S25, they'll give you $100 that you can use towards accessories. But if you choose to upgrade to the 256 gigabyte version, which is $60 more, they'll knock $50 off that price and then let you use the other $50 on accessories. So you'd only be paying $10 more for that. And then same with the Plus, except you get $150 towards accessories if you order the Plus model. And then if you choose to upgrade the storage on that one from 256 to 512, it would normally cost you $120, but they're letting you use $100 of your credit towards that. So you only pay $20 more for the upgrade, and then you have $50 towards the accessories. And then it's a little different on the Ultra. On the Ultra, you do get the free upgrade if you pre-order. So you get the 512 for the price of the 256, or you get the 1 terabyte for the price of the 512. So that will save you money there. But then depending on which model you choose, you'll get a different amount of credit to spend on accessories. So it's $150 if you get the 256 model. You get $130 to spend if you get the 512 model, and then you have $110 to spend if you get the 1 terabyte model.
Another thing that you mentioned earlier, John, has to do with that memory. Samsung's been very stingy when it comes to, memory and all of that. And I'm glad to see them bumping it up to at least 12 gigs. But word on the street is that certain areas or regions, like you said earlier, with the base model, some regions have up to 512 gigs of storage. In the same manner, the memory, the RAM in some certain regions, you have up to 16 gigs. So Samsung should have just done that, especially for the Ultra, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But anyway, it's Samsung.
I think I know why it's not available in the US, because they know that at least 90% of people in the US get their phones from carriers, and the carriers do not offer the higher end models. Like, they're just going to give you the cheap model with low storage and low memory, because it's supposedly on them, right? So I think they just know this type of stuff doesn't sell well in the US, although there are people that would buy it, but I think they're few and far between.
I totally agree. I think that totally makes sense, because most people get their phones free, right? Or basically for nothing, little thing out of a pocket and for a time being and all of that. So if you're going to be telling people, hey, you need to put $200 down, a lot of people are not going to buy that. So I can see that totally makes sense to me. And so it makes sense to keep things simple. And like we said, I think all this craze about, specs is all about those of us who are in the know, the Android enthusiasts that tend to go for things of that nature. The average Joe there doesn't really care. They just want a damn phone, isn't it? So I see how that makes sense. And if I were a carrier, I think I'll do the same thing. It doesn't make sense to be dumping money on something that people are not going to want to pay more for. So I agree with that.
Let me give my opinion in general. Actually, I think that the whole event was about AI. So they were just talking about the AI improvements, the AI additions. Now Gemini is everywhere. Gemini is gonna be replacing the Bixby, sort of, which is good.
Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Bixby is gone and Greyhound.
No, it's not actually.
No,
it's still on the
Bixby's
phone,
still
but
there.
yeah, it's not the default assistant.
Yeah, so that's good. I want it to be gone and Greyhound.
This is what I like about their approach. Now, obviously, I haven't used it, but it seems like Bixby will still do all the on-device stuff that Gemini is bad at. But then, if you just ask it a general question that you actually want an AI answer to, then it will go get Gemini for that sort of thing. So if that's how it ends up working out, I'm gonna love it, because it would actually be both. It would be Bixby and Gemini.
Yeah, it's good actually, but I think that eventually they're going to replace Bixby completely with Gemini, but it's just an assumption. Anyway, so the thing is also they are giving people 6 months of Gemini Advanced for free, and the Gemini stuff, the things related to camera and to the multimodal capabilities, which is able to deal with more complicated commands. It's able also to check the things that you are using. Like if you are on a YouTube video and you use Gemini and you're trying to have a conversation, it will be able to know what you are doing, and you can just talk about this thing that you are dealing with, which is great. Eventually, all of this will be coming to other phones as well, but the thing of exclusive and the thing of promoting things and marketing stuff. So this is the whole thing. Actually, nothing important regarding specs other than the upgrade of the processor. Okay, the 8 Elite is good. It's a jump forward, but nothing else. And they're playing it so safe to the point that they are not even increasing the charging speed. They are not increasing the battery size. Other companies are just going better with all of this, but Samsung is just staying calm. If it ain't broken, then don't fix it, which is not really good for the future, because they can't rely on AI always. There should be something in the hardware that they should talk about, which is currently not available. So this is really a problem for the future, I think. I don't know how much they will, or for how long they will keep doing this, but it's not really good.
Yeah,
Samsung
because
used to
they've been doing it. This isn't their first year doing this. They did the same thing last year and possibly even the year before, where the hardware upgrades were very minor. If any at all, especially when it comes to charging speeds and cameras and stuff. I mean, even the Ultra got what some people considered a downgrade in its cameras last year. Going from the 23 Ultra to the 24 Ultra, the 10x zoom they replaced with a 5x zoom. I mean, it was a higher megapixel count, and they claimed it was better, but some people consider that a downgrade. So I mean, this has been a trend for at least 2, if not 3 years, and they can't just keep doing this forever.
Exactly. You know what's the problem that they are not realizing? It is the AI fatigue. People are starting to become tired of AI. AI was okay, that thing, the magic word that you could put everywhere and it would give you the sales that you want. But now, no, it's not like that. It's just becoming less and less interesting to people. So I think that they aren't able to continue AI everywhere. Right? Like it's already over. It's already going so far, actually. But the most important thing, which I really don't like about the Unpacked event, and actually I voiced my concerns and my frustration yesterday in my AI article, is how they dealt with talkback, with accessibility. It's good to have something in the announcement regarding accessibility, but in this way, it's really not good. So what they did, they announced that Gemini image descriptions is coming. The Gemini description is coming to Samsung S25 first, and then it will come to other Samsung devices. Now, they didn't give further details, so we don't know even if they will come to other devices like the A series, where there is no AI, offline AI, actually. Are they going to deprive people of having the image description, the online image description? Are they going to give them this description? No one knows. But giving this feature exclusively to Samsung S25 after 3 months of having the feature in the Google's talkback is not the way to go. This is the first thing. The second thing is that Braille HID support. So people were waiting and waiting and waiting, and now Samsung will be the first one to include the HID support also on the S25 first, and then the other Android 15 devices, whether they are Samsung or non-Samsung phones. So it will come eventually to other Android 15 devices. But again, wait and wait and wait. So this is not good. This is a marketing strategy that shouldn't be there. They shouldn't do this. And they are just dealing with people like we're stupid or something, because, okay, we all know that Gemini description is there in Google Talkback everywhere. Maybe since Android 11, I don't know if previous Android versions are supported, but since Android 11, people have this. And now they come and say, hey, we are going to include Gemini descriptions. Okay, offline descriptions is good, but at least they should have been giving people the online descriptions since more than 3 months. So all of this is nonsense. All of this is not the way to go. And all of this is not innovation in any way. So I don't like this, and I hope that they will not continue like that, and that they will really show us something innovative in the future about accessibility, not delay all of the features until the new device is released, and then say, hey, we have this and that and that. And actually, Google is the one also to be blamed here, because there is, in fact, a deal between Google and Samsung, and this deal is not actually giving people any advantage. It's just marketing and agreements and deals. And yes, the media will come and say, hey, look what Samsung has done. Look what Google has done. And then the reality will be something different. But, media will just cover, and the reality will go away.
Karen, there's some very important items that you mentioned, or issues that you mentioned here. And I want to start with that, all that AI thing. And the reason why Google, for example, has 16 gigs and all of that. The idea is that certain amount of that memory is dedicated to AI. And Samsung, you're only giving 12 gigs of RAM. Really, so when you look at it, and the ones that are dedicated to AI, then you're really maybe getting like 6 or 7 gigs of free RAM that is dedicated to the system when you check out the one that's dedicated to the AI. So in reality, they should have bumped that thing up to 16, and thus you have at least 12 gigs of free RAM for the system and all of that. Another thing, though, that you mentioned, which is very important, is that battery. Everybody's improving in battery, and I don't know why Samsung has kept to this puny 5,000 milliamp battery. I mean, Xiaomi and OnePlus is eating their food right out of their hand. It's not good. And I know they're kind of trying to play it safe, probably because of what happened back during the Note 7 fiasco and all of that. But gosh, I mean, that's a long time ago. We've long gone past that. And I think Samsung should be giving us more battery. We talked about battery versus performance a little while ago, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think battery is important. If I'm going to be enjoying my phone, I need that battery in there. I don't want to be running to the charger every now and then. I want to at least maybe charge my phone a couple times a week or whatever. If I have like that OnePlus that you have, John, I think I'll be very good with that phone.
Here's the thing. I mean, I was watching Unpacked from start till the end, and all about AI was kind of frustrating. I mean, I was expecting them to talk more about the phones, like the specs themselves, but it was all about AI. Even they talked about S25H, the slim version. They only showed like a prototype, and they didn't talk much about that phone. It was all about AI. How can you do certain things, taking pictures, editing audios, and all that stuff. But that wasn't quite exciting. I was expecting something bigger, like at least a bigger battery, as you guys said. The chip is pretty decent indeed. But like as you said, Xiaomi, OnePlus, even Honor, Vivo, they are doing great in terms of battery. They are doing their best to compete with those flagship makers. But all about AI, and that didn't impress me because with my S23, I can use them all, and there is no reason for me to switch, even though it's 2 generations, the 24 and now it's 25. So I'm still sticking with my S23 for now and see what happens next year. I'm even more excited for the A series because they will be announced in probably end of March or early April. I think they will be talking more about the specs that time, not only AI, because those phones won't be powered with AI on device. So let's see what they will come up with.
You mentioned that Galaxy S25 Slim, which now they're renaming to Galaxy S25 Edge, and I think they probably didn't want to talk about much about the specs of the S25 series, because it seems to me like the Edge is probably going to be the focus. Is going to be their big thing, and that's why they probably teased that, and it's going to be something to focus on.
I don't even understand the point of it. Honestly, it's like it only has 2 cameras. I mean, I guess I get the point of it. It's slim, but what are you giving up to have a slim phone? The battery. I feel like even if they go with like the silicon carbon battery, and do the dual cell stacked thing that OnePlus did, like with that slim, like it's not gonna have the same amount of battery as like the plus version of the S25. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's intriguing. It might be like a cool device to hold, but would I want to use it? Probably not.
I think, though, probably they're kind of being reminiscent about. Remember, the last time we saw the Galaxy Edge, what was it? Was it with the 7 series? I don't recall that we had one in the 8. Does anyone remember? I know we had the regular 8, the Plus.
I think the 7 was
the 7 was the last one.
But
with
this
the 8.
wasn't this when they were first like curving the displays, and it curved on one side, and that's why it was called the Edge.
Yeah. So it started with no, I think there was one that I think before the 7 there was another Edge. I think the 6.
I'm saying the 7 was the last one.
Yeah, the 7 was the last one. So it's been a while. That was back in almost 10 years ago, back in 2016. Is that when we saw the Galaxy S7? I want to say that was 2016. So frankly, they're kind of thinking about, hey, we need something back.
I think they're hoping that everyone has forgotten about the Edge because they want to use the name again, and the phones have nothing in common with each other.
Yeah.
So back in the days, I was reading a research about the phone usage in South Korea, especially the teenagers and the ladies below 30. in South Korea, they were going for Apple devices. So just to change this, I think Samsung did this slim phone. So just the girls holding that, they will feel better. Let's see what happens there. I mean, still, it's not going to change anything.
And don't forget something, that Apple is going to produce also a slim device.
Yeah.
So Samsung is doing this it's just doing this for, okay, Apple
Competition.
is doing this and we are going to do this also. So the same copying that's happening all the time, some trend, and then Apple starts the trend, and then the other companies, especially Samsung, like does the same. So that's it. Nothing else, actually.
Well, that's crazy because whatever Apple does, they are copying it. Like they remove the charging brick and now they don't have it. And whatever Apple does, they are trying to copy it. So that slim phone is going to be another version of how to copy Apple. But the competition is so high. Maybe another player is going to come into the field, and maybe that's going to be even more exciting for the compact and slim phones. I'm sure the Chinese guy is going to be doing it way better than those both.
Oh, guys, give Samsung a little break. Well, what can I say? They're kind of, if the trend is going this way, you don't want to be left off that trend. You want to catch up and all aboard. So we need to be part of that party. So I can see where they're coming from. But, so I happen to be, you guys know where I stand. I don't care about slim phones. Just give me a good battery, okay? I know Karen loves them slim boys. Karen, you love them slim boys.
Yes, I do. Actually, seriously,
I don't care.
I like the phone to be as slim as possible. Yeah, I don't want to lose the battery. Like, I don't want it to be like 2,000 milliamp hours battery. But I like it to be slim. Like my phone, I don't like how thick it is. Although it's not very thick, but it's sort of not my style of phones. So yeah, personally, if I'm in the market for an S25 phone, I wait for the slim and get it.
Do you use a case on your phone screen?
Of course not.
Okay, yeah, that's wise. Because I use a case, so slimness doesn't really matter to me. Like I wish I could not use a case, but it's impossible to type for me on the Braille keyboard without a case because there's no bezels on these phones anymore, and my palms like touch the edge of the phone and it messes everything up. So I have to have it in a case. If I didn't have to have it in a case, I probably would be slimmer is better,
Well, exactly. I'm using a compact phone. The S23 is a small phone, but still I'm using with a case just for the Braille keyboard.
For me, it doesn't matter what it is. Baby jumps out of the box and jumps into a case and a tempered glass. I like keeping my phones in a pristine condition. I don't even want to see fingerprints on my damn phone. So there's no way under heaven you're going to see me running with that thing naked. Put on some shirt, shall we? I can see where you guys are coming from, but definitely. And John, I think you mentioned something there very important, most especially if one is using or wanting to take advantage of that virtual Braille keyboard. It does help with, defining borders, with respect to your fingers. Yeah. So it really makes sense.
I'm just talking about screen away mode when you're actually holding the phone. I guess if you're using tabletop mode, it wouldn't matter so much because you're not holding the phone on the sides.
Yeah, you're not touching the screen.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but touching the case is different than touching the phone itself. I will not talk about the thickness that it adds, which is something that I hate. But even touching it, when you get this phone, like this glass back, or also people who care about the design, and then you put this case. So I don't like this. Actually, I'm the person who also doesn't put a screen protector. So I hate all of this stuff. I think it's better to keep it as it is.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you.
don't-
I don't use the screen protector because I want my fingerprint sensor to work. And I wouldn't use a case if it weren't for the Braille keyboard. That's literally the only reason I use it. I wish I could get away with not using a case.
So, Karen girl, in other words, you want people to see how pretty your phone looks like. See, I don't give a rat about that. I don't want anyone seeing how beautiful my phone looks. No.
It's nobody's business
no.
what your phone looks like.
Exactly.
You're a private kind of guy.
Wait. I don't care if people see my phone as beautiful or not. I even once I got the black model when everyone was why did you get the black model when I wasn't able to find the other colors? So it's not the thing of like I want people to see, oh, look what I have. It's I was talking about like you seeing the design. If you are sighted person, you are seeing this design, and this is the point. You are seeing what you have, and if you are a blind person, you are touching the actual phone, which is something that you're doing for yourself. So it's not actually about people and about how. In fact, I'm the person who is always like, people look at me and say, what? Aren't you putting a case? How could you do that? So people will just not look at the phone. They will just be surprised by what I'm doing. So the thing is just, it's your phone. It's that touch. It's that thing that you paid for. So keep it as it is.
Yeah. I guess for me, it'll always be tempered glass and case, no matter what. I'm not even going to set up my device without it. So when I order a brand new phone, that same day I order a case and a tempered glass. And reason why, if you look at my old phones, they look like the day they came out.
I've actually already got my case. I'm not paranoid like you, but I actually have already got my case for my S25 Ultra just because Amazon shipped it so fast. Yeah,
exactly.
It's ready. I'll probably at least want to hold the device for a little while. But like I said, when I get to using it and needing to type with the Braille keyboard, then I'll definitely have it in a case. But I ordered a MagSafe case, which reminds me, I should probably mention these phones are now, I guess it's a very minor upgrade, but they're now Qi 2 ready, which, to be clear, it does not mean they're Qi 2, but they will work with the Qi 2 charger if you have a magnetic case on them. So whether it be a MagSafe case or a case that says Qi 2 compatible, it basically, if the case has magnets, this will now work with a Qi 2 charger and should charge at 25 watts wirelessly.
Not too bad, but why don't they just outright do that thing and make it, what it is, instead of this nonsense and this fine language of Qi 2 ready? Yeah. Come on, give me a break.
Everybody's skipping out.
Yeah.
HMD is made one phone that was Qi 2 compatible, and that's literally the only Android phone out of all these manufacturers that's done it.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Or Qi 2 ready. Come on, man. Just do the thing and call it good.